Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, my name is Yusbita Aqdami Hanim with student number 226121152. Today, I will present about my assignment that is language learning assessment. For the first, I will explain about the objectives of learning evaluation. The objectives of learning evaluation is to determine the effectiveness and efficiency of the learning system. Encompassing objectives contain methods, media, learning resource, environment, and the assessment system itself. This means that evaluation in education and learning is a systematic process to measure the effectiveness of the teaching and learning system as a whole. The purpose of learning evaluation is to determine the level of achievement of students in a learning process, as well as to understand students about the extent to which they can provide assistance to students' shortcomings, with the aim of placing students in a more appropriate learning situation according to their level of ability. This is done through several ways that have been mentioned, such as through content, methods, media, learning resources, resource, environment, and assessment system. The next material is procedure in constructing a test. Number one, the first determine learning objectives. Uh, this is a process of identifying the purpose of learning, which is necessary to determine the learning competencies to be achieved. Number two, determine the learning competencies you want to achieve. This means you want to achieve is the process of identifying the learning competencies you want to achieve, which will affect the level of intellectual ability that must be achieved. Number three, determine the realm of intellectual abilities according to learning competencies. Uh, this this is domain that corresponds to the learning competencies in the process of identifying the intellectual ability domain that corresponds to the learning competencies to be achieved. Number four, use appropriate keywords. This is process of identifying appropriate keywords to describe the learning competencies to be achieved. And number five, determine appropriate learning medium. This means the process of identifying the appropriate learning media for the learning competencies to be achieved. For the next material is the strength and weakness of different types of the tests. First, diagnostic tests. For the strength diagnosis, for the strength identifies specific strength and weakness within a skills. So, diagnosis tests can help teacher and learners to determine ways to improve learning. And number two, useful for identifying specific ways to improve. So, information from this test can be used to help teachers and learners identify areas for improvement in learning. Number three, exclusively used in language learning environments. Diagnostic tests are only applied in a language learning and environments, thus ensuring the consistency and validity of the test. And for the weakness, first, not stable for measuring a person's level of skill in a language, independent of how they learn it. Means independent of how they learn it, diagnostic tests are primarily designed to diagnose specific linguistic aspects or identify students' strengths and weaknesses in a course. And the second, not stable for measuring how well someone acquires a language skill in general. It is main uh, not stable for measuring how well someone acquires language skill in general. Um, Diagnostic tests are typically designed to assess students' performance in a specific course or curriculum. And next is formative tests for the strength. First, provide feedback and information during the instructional process. So, formative tests allow teachers to provide feedback and information to students about their understanding of a subject, which can help students identify their strengths and weaknesses and adjust their learning strategies accordingly. And second, allow for adjustment to be made in teaching methods based on students' performance. Uh, it is meant the results of formative tests can be used to identify areas where students are struggling and to adjust teaching methods to better support their learning. And the third uh, can be used to assess the effectiveness of a teaching strategy or method. It is meant a formative test can be used to evaluate the effectiveness of a teaching strategy or method and to make adjustments as needed. For the weakness, first may not provide a comprehensive measure of a student's overall understanding of a subject. This means formative tests focus on specific aspects of a subject and may not provide a comprehensive measure of a student's overall understanding of the subject. And the third and second may not be representative of a student's performance on a summative assessment. This is mean formative tests are typically low-stakes assessments and may not provide an accurate representation of a student's performance on a summative assessment, which is often high stakes and may have consequences for a student's academic progress. Uh, Next is summative tests. For the strengths, first provide a comprehensive measure of students' overall understanding of a subject. It is mean summative tests cover a broad range of topics and skills, providing a comprehensive measure of a student's overall understanding of a subject. And second, can be used to assess students' readiness for the next level of academic standing. This means summative tests can be used to evaluate a student's readiness for the next level of academic standing, such as moving from elementary to middle school or from middle school to high school. And the third can be used to measure the effectiveness of a teaching strategy or method. Its main summative tests can be used to evaluate the effectiveness of a teaching strategy or method and to make adjustments as needed. And for the weakness, the first may not provide feedback or information during the instructional process. This means summative tests are typically administered at the end of a unit of or semester, and the results may not be available until after the instructional process has ended. And the second may not allow for adjustment to be made in teaching methods based on students' performance. This means summative tests are typically high-stakes assessment and the result may have consequences for a student's academic progress such as promotion or retention. retention. For the next material is writing rules for multiple choice questions. Uh, the rules of writing multiple choice items focus on several aspects, such like material, construction, and language. For the material, it is use proper grammar, pronunciation, and spelling. Items and options should be clear and unambiguous. Content should be independent from item to item. Avoid making the answer of one item correctly depend on knowing the correct answer to another item. And for the construction, use a single, clearly state problem or questions. Describe the problem fully and avoid irrelevant information. Include most information in the stem so that the options can be sorted. State the stem as a question or as an incomplete statement if needed to avoid awkward words. Be as brief as possible and avoid undue complexity. Avoid negatives when possible, as well as idioms, passive voice, and absolutes. When making the stem an incomplete statement, make sure that options follow the stem in a grammatically correct manner. For the language, use a consistent vocabulary level with the student's understanding. Avoid convoluted stems and options. Write the correct answer first and then write the incorrect option in a parallel style. Make all options possible to students who don't know the correct answer. Decrease the possibility of students guessing by avoiding options such as all of the above or both A and B. Use none of the above with caution and only when there are absolutely correct answers to the question so that none of the available options are partially correct. Vary the position of the correct option. Make sure there is only one best or correct answers. For the last material is assessing the quality of a questions item involves evaluating it based on several categories validity. validity. Uh, First is display validity. Uh, Display validity refers to the extent to which test materials, including the layout and design of the test, accurately and fairly reflect the content and difficulty level of the test items. It is important to ensure that the test materials are visually appealing, easy to read, and free from distractions that may influence the test taker's performance. Uh, for the second is content validity. Content validity is a crucial aspect of assessing the quality of a question item. It is referred to extent to which a test accurately and adequately measures the specific content or construct it is designed to assess content validity. Various methods can be used, such as expert judgment, item analysis, and statistical techniques. And the third, predictive validity. Predictive validity is another aspect of assessing the quality of a question item. It refers to the degree to which a test score or construct scale predicts a criterion variable measuring a future outcome. To assess predictive validity, research often evaluates the correlations between test scores and future outcomes. And the last is construct validity. It is an essential aspect of assessing the quality of a questions item. It refers to the extent to which a test accurately measures the intended construct or concept, which is not directly observable or measurable. Construct validity is typically evaluated using two metrics: convergent and discriminant validity. Okay, thank you for attention my explain. See you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.